Shocking. Alex Eala has landed in the top 5 of New York Fashion Week's most talked about names, and the luxury recognition surrounding her has stunned the Big Apple. A 21-year-old Filipina who recently saw her signature Nike shirt sell out within minutes is now being mentioned alongside some of the biggest names in fashion. Nobody expected her story to reach this point. From a $140 royal blue US Open dress to a designer Chanel bag reportedly worth more than 50,000 Cuban pesos, from signature merchandise that reportedly outsold products connected to major tennis stars like Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Aryna Sabalenka to a Marriott Bonvoy partnership expanding her global profile, the Eala effect is no longer limited to the tennis court. It is becoming a genuine fashion and lifestyle phenomenon. The moment the New York Fashion Week top 5 list was revealed, the fashion world did a double take. There, alongside established names from the industry, was Alex Eala, a 21-year-old tennis player from the Philippines who, according to the skeptics, was supposed to be making headlines on the court, not in the fashion capital of the world. Yet there she was, making an impact far beyond tennis. The announcement came just days after Eala arrived in New York for the US Open, and by then, her identity had already begun expanding beyond that of a rising tennis star. She was becoming a lifestyle figure whose name could move merchandise, whose fashion choices attracted attention, and whose presence was beginning to matter outside the sport. That influence had been building for months. Before her US Open campaign even began, the Filipina sensation was already making headlines with her Nike partnership. Nike released a royal blue dress priced at $140, featuring contrasting white and black trim and large mesh sections along the sides and back. The design was described as basketball-inspired and made with recycled materials, while its deep royal blue color immediately reminded many Filipino fans of the blue featured on the Philippine national flag. Eala also unveiled a signature black shirt priced at $42, featuring floral details on the front and her name printed across the back, and the shirt reportedly sold out within minutes. What made that sellout even more striking was the company she was keeping. Fashion writer Jessica Schiffer pointed out that merchandise from several other newly released tennis stars remained available, including products associated with Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Aryna Sabalenka, 3 of the biggest names in tennis, and yet Eala's shirt was the one that disappeared almost immediately. The commercial response reflected what had already been happening at tournaments throughout the summer. Eala repeatedly attracted crowds that seemed far larger than what her ranking and relatively short time on the global stage would normally suggest, with even her practice sessions becoming events of their own. The demand became so noticeable that tournament organizers repeatedly gave her prominent court assignments, sometimes reshuffling schedules to accommodate the attention surrounding her. And now, that momentum has reached New York's fashion scene. Eala had already been turning heads with her off-court style, and before traveling to Canada earlier in August, she shared an outfit check that immediately caught the attention of fashion-conscious fans. Among the standout pieces was a Chanel bag that eagle-eyed followers quickly identified as a plum tote, believed to come from the French fashion house's fall/winter 2010 or 2011 collections. Featuring Chanel's signature quilted design with purple and white tweed forming the recognizable diamond pattern, the bag added another layer to Eala's rapidly growing image as a young athlete whose influence is now extending well beyond tennis. With 2 spacious compartments, the bag had more than enough room for Eala's beloved oversized headphones, which she often wears during her walk onto the court. On the resale market, a bag like this could reportedly command at least $2,500 or roughly 152,295 Cuban pesos. Eala has openly admitted that she's a sucker for a good bag, and her growing designer collection certainly backs that up. But the New York Fashion Week top 5 recognition was something else entirely. It was the ultimate validation that Eala was no longer being seen simply as a tennis player. She was becoming a global fashion and lifestyle figure, someone capable of selling out merchandise within minutes, competing commercially with some of the biggest names in tennis, and now appearing among the most talked about figures connected to one of the world's biggest fashion events. In other words, Alex Eala had officially arrived, and the surprise surrounding her New York Fashion Week recognition proved that the Eala effect had moved far beyond the tennis court. Then came another major fashion moment. The instant Nike unveiled Eala's US Open kit, fans immediately took notice. Before she had even hit a single ball at Flushing Meadows, her royal blue Nike Court Slam dress had become one of the most talked about pieces in tennis fashion. Priced at $140 or approximately 8,600 Cuban pesos, the dress features a striking old royal blue colorway that many Filipino fans immediately saw as a subtle connection to the blue found on the Philippine national flag. Nike describes the design as basketball-inspired and made with recycled materials, featuring large mesh panels along the sides and back that are inspired by basketball nets. Its sleek racerback silhouette is designed to sit comfortably over a sports bra, while the recycled polyester construction and Nike's DRI Fit technology are built to provide comfort and mobility during competition. But the details that made the outfit truly special weren't just technical. They were personal. Eala's Nike kits have featured Filipino words and phrases carrying deep cultural meaning, including Kung may idnanim may anahin, a message about reaping what you plant, and Kapag lumago, hindi hihinto, expressing the idea that once something grows, it cannot be stopped. Those messages have appeared on her Wimbledon gear and continued onto her US Open collection. The royal blue dress became more than another piece of tennis apparel. It became another way for Eala to carry her heritage onto one of the biggest stages in sports. That connection with Nike has been developing for years. During her Wimbledon debut, Nike created a custom hair tie featuring the sampaguita, the national flower of the Philippines. Her visor also carried the Tagalog phrase Kapag lumago, hindi hihinto, while an earlier Nike Bayou shirt created with Filipino artist Georgina Koo incorporated the national flower into its design. Eala explained during Wimbledon that wearing pieces connected to her culture was deeply personal. She described the feeling of carrying elements of her heritage onto the biggest stages in tennis as something deeply sentimental because every detail allowed her to represent where she came from. And that is exactly why the $140 US Open dress resonated so strongly. It wasn't simply a fashionable tennis outfit. It was Eala's identity turned into sportswear. But then Nike released another piece that created an even bigger reaction. On August 18, 2026, the black Nike Court Alex Eala tennis t-shirt went on sale for $42. Within hours, it had completely sold out on Nike's website. And once again, the most remarkable part wasn't simply that Eala's merchandise sold out, it was the company she was keeping. Fashion writer Jessica Schiffer noted that newly released merchandise connected to other major tennis stars, including Carlos Alcaraz, Jannik Sinner, and Aryna Sabalenka, remained available while Eala's shirt had disappeared from the shelves. Three of the biggest names in modern tennis, and yet Eala's merchandise was the one fans rushed to buy. The contrast was impossible to ignore. The oversized black shirt was unmistakably designed around Eala's identity, featuring a subtle floral graphic on the front and Alex Eala written across the back alongside floral artwork, the Nike swoosh, and the iconic "Just Do It" slogan. And once again, the floral theme carried cultural meaning. The sampaguita, already featured in Eala's custom Wimbledon accessories, returned as part of the design, a clear tribute to her Filipino heritage. Eala herself appeared thrilled by the release, sharing the shirt on her Instagram story and proudly writing, "I have my own shirt. You know what to do." Her fans clearly understood the assignment. The response was immediate. Within minutes of going live, the shirt was reportedly sold out, with TMZ also reporting on the rapid sellout. By Wednesday afternoon, Nike's women's tennis storefront was listing the Eala shirt as coming soon, potentially signaling another opportunity for fans who missed the first release. And the reaction didn't stop there. Fans flooded the product pages asking Nike to restock it, proving that the demand surrounding Alex Eala had moved beyond match tickets and stadium crowds. Her fans weren't just showing up to watch her play. They were buying her story, wearing her identity, and turning her name into a brand of its own. While some fans celebrated the incredible demand, others pointed out an ironic twist. The shirt was selling out despite criticism that the design looked too simple. Sportskeeda highlighted reactions from fans who described the release as low effort, while others questioned why Nike hadn't given Eala a more distinctive design. Similar criticism appeared across online tennis communities. with some fans comparing the new US release unfavorably with earlier Eala merchandise in the Philippines, particularly designs that prominently featured the sampaguita. One Nike customer even questioned the dark-on-dark design, arguing that the artwork was difficult to see. And that created an unusual combination. People were criticizing the shirt while simultaneously rushing to buy it. That contradiction may have been the most revealing part of the entire release. The commercial response reflected what had already been happening around Eala all summer. She repeatedly attracted crowds far larger than her ranking and experience would normally suggest, with even her practice sessions becoming events of their own. The demand became strong enough that tournament organizers consistently gave her prominent court assignments, sometimes moving higher-ranked players to smaller venues to accommodate the attention surrounding her. A $42 shirt selling out while merchandise from some of tennis's biggest names remained available demonstrated something the tennis establishment could no longer ignore. Alex Eala had become a commercial force far beyond the traditional boundaries of the sport. Then came another glimpse into her rapidly evolving fashion identity. Before flying from Washington to Toronto, Eala shared a quick outfit check on her Instagram story, and eagle-eyed fans immediately noticed the designer bag hanging from her shoulder. She wore a simple white t-shirt with relaxed purple pants and loafers for the flight, but the accessory beside her stood out immediately. Fans quickly identified it as a Chanel tote, believed to be from the French fashion house's fall/winter 2010 or 2011 collection. The purple and white tweed exterior featured Chanel's signature quilted diamond pattern, while leather and chain straps and polished hardware completed the look. With two spacious compartments, the bag was large enough to carry Eala's oversized headphones, an accessory she has frequently been seen wearing during her walks onto the court. Eala has previously admitted that she's a sucker for a good bag, and her growing designer collection certainly seems to confirm it. Because the tote comes from a collection more than a decade old, finding one today can be difficult. On the resale market, examples can reportedly reach at least $2,500 or roughly 152,295 Cuban pesos. But the Chanel bag was only